Well, the blood on the inside of Steele's nose seems to have stemmed. Don't think that's going to be a factor in this fight. Oh, and a left kick to the side of the head. Caught the Korean flush enough to see him go down.
Aaron doing a good job here. He's got his right underhook, and that arm around the head by the Korean fighter really isn't doing much. Right now he's in jeopardy of getting mounted. He's in jeopardy of having his back taken. Armbar, Kimura, there's a variety of options available here to Aaron Steele.
Steele's right hand was pinned by the Korean's body, but he's got that free now. And there he's using his forearm to batter the Korean's head onto the canvas. All of this very legal.
But none of those strikes effectively doing much damage. Jong Kim still in the half guard here. I'd like to try to see him bump back and get into the full guard. But after being head kicked, he might be trying to just ride out the round. With it being a 25-minute fight, I could see him trying to just recover, ride out the last 10 seconds of this round and regroup for round 3.
Yep, that sounds like a good ploy. There it is, the left elbow, pushing the Korean's head down onto the canvas, so he's taking a beating on both sides of the head, as if one wasn't bad enough. 2 rounds in the book.
Count champion, very experienced wrestler himself. Offering the advice with the ice pack on the back of his head. Basically, I think the main advice he needs to offer is, if we're going to take those leg kicks, we need to counter.
I think you can see that swinging kick made contact with the shin, actually, yeah, just below the knee, and you can see how it staggered the Korean. He rocked from side to side before falling, and straight away Steele was on top of him. And Ray, if you gave the first round to the American Aaron Steele, would you have given the second one to him as well?
Yeah, I think that's an easy round to give to Aaron Steele. I wouldn't give it a 10-8 round, even though there was a knockdown. He didn't really utilize much off of that. I would have it as a 10-9, but an argument can be made for it to be a 10-8.
10-10 would be the score for an even round. 10-9, very much similar to the one you've just seen. As Ray was explaining, if there is a knockdown and there's a big advantage for one fighter, you will see 10-8 scored, and very rarely a 10-7. At the end of the 5 rounds, the judges tot up their scorecards, and the winner is determined via points. The 3rd round is underway. Steele, looking purposeful, takes the center of the ring. And again, that familiar swinging right kick to the Korean's upper thigh.
Aaron Steele's doing a good job on those leg kicks. But again, I'd like to see him use it a bit more. You know, it's working. Every single leg kick you've thrown's land. Part of the reason why that head kick was so effective is because of the fact that you landed so many to the lower body.
And they land in isolation as well. There's no attempt to follow up with the leg kick. Of course. Oh, and the Korean using his hands to good effect there, getting this crowd to their feet at Resorts World Sentosa. 4 punches thrown, another 3. Steele's guard helping him out, but that jab landed, and the Korean is...
Man Kim starting to come alive here. You have to start to wonder, is Aaron going to start fading? Is jet lag going to start playing an issue into this bout?
Well, the longer this fight goes on, the more of a factor that is bound to be. And is the Korean starting to realize that?
Good. I'd like to see Jong Kim do more of that. If you're going to eat those leg kicks and you're not going to check them or block them, then you need to counter strike off of that. Throw that leading left hook, throw that straight right, step in. Don't just take one and give nothing back. Oh, good block there. The crowd getting animated behind the fighter from Nebraska. Neither one of these fighters have really worked to the body. Both of these fighters have basically been exclusively with leg kicks and then head hunting. I'd like to see one of these guys try to work in a punch to the body or a mid-body kick. One of the things about going high and then going low is it keeps your opponent guessing.
Well, it's interesting, Steele's defense to the Koreans' left hooks to the chin and to sort of the upper body is all elbows, and that means if you catch the elbow with that fist, which is not fully gloved, as we've mentioned already, can be quite painful. You could perhaps break a finger there or certainly do some damage.
Yeah, very common defense with the mixed martial arts gloves being so small. With the ability of the fight to change in literally the one strike landing, a lot of fighters will cover and shield using their elbows almost like they're combing the back of their head.
And some leg work there from the Korean. Again, that's the third such kick with his left leg to the inside of Steele's left knee. Keep those coming, and that's going to be quite debilitating for the American. Yet to see that before this round from the Korean. And maybe the Korean is just starting to find his feet, find a little bit of confidence that he may have the superior fitness if this fight goes on. Very, very interesting contest, with Steele taking the first 2 rounds on Ray Elby's card. We are halfway through this fight, and there is plenty to come. Oh, an overhand swinging right hand that fell short and was, let's just say, slightly telegraphed.
Both fighters seem content to let the bout play its course out on the feet, which you can hear the crowd's emotion to that. They like to see the striking. They like to see the boxing and the Muay Thai and the karate and the mixed martial arts striking.
It's livening up a bit here, isn't it? And the crowd are getting behind it. A swinging left hand just falls a whisker short of the American's face. And a jab from the Korean really is building in confidence. And there again is that left kick to the inside of the American's left knee. Working on that area.
Now again, Aaron is a bandit, that lower leg kick.
Caught him there. Another swinging left hand just caught the American on the chin. How this fight has turned. At a lower level of intensity, the American was on top. And the Korean has lifted things.
One of the things about Jong Kim, you know, and we brought this up at the beginning of the fight, is he hasn't won a fight since he beat Hatsu Hayoki in 2007, who coincidentally was the Shudo champion. And he's had some very, very, very tough bouts, Hideko Tekoro and Mitsunori Kanara, but all those losses have been by decision. And one of the things that happens is when you've lost several fights in a row, sometimes along the way, and especially when you've had 50 fights, you don't forget how to fight, but you forget how to win.
Forget how to win. I was just about to make that point. Yeah, very true. But he has a habit of going the distance, and he's not necessarily losing this one, because although we gave the first 2 rounds to the American, would you agree with me, Ray, that the Korean came back in round 3?
Yeah, I would definitely give that round to Jong Kim. I mean, he was walking forward. He was effectively landing that inside kick, that left hook. As you watch the replay here, he's flurrying, he's pushing the pace. He's really dictating the match in the round 3, whereas the first 2 rounds he was content to just kind of sit back and let things happen.
Not easy to throw punches in combinations like that when you're moving forward so quickly, as we just saw the Korean do twice in instant replay. In boxing and Muay Thai as well, you tend to have your feet slightly more planted. But as you're chasing your opponent, who's backpedaling quickly, difficult to get the right balance to land the crisper punches. 3 rounds down. This is a 5-round contest. We have 2 rounds, potentially 10 minutes of action still to come. The referee just wants the trainer to come back in and wipe a bit of moisture or possibly Vaseline off the face. Looks like moisture is the attempt there. He is really soaking wet.
Now I would say this definitely plays into the American fighter's benefit. You look over in the corner and you can see him with the deep breaths. It looks like now, starting in round 4, he's starting to fatigue a bit.
Round 4. 2 rounds awarded to the American, 1 to the Korean on our scorecard at ringside. But it's the Korean who seems to have the shift in the balance of power.
Kim has a great leading left hook here. That's a fight changer. That's one of those punches that if he lands that can change the course of the bout, definitely.
Oh, Steele brought his head down the Korean Jong Kim connected with a kick